Right, so my name is Simcha Gluck, co-founder of Freshbiz, and I'm here with Josh Weiss, who's a partner of Freshbiz and a founder, and Ronen Gafni, who's the founder and creator. And it was really fun getting to play with Gabe back in New York City, and it's nice to be here in Israel, welcoming Gabe on our side in the Startup Nation to be able to say hello and to be part of the G Summit as well over here too. Let's see what's going on over here. Good. One of the things that we're excited to share with you tonight is just how we change the way that people play life. And I'm going to have Ronen really just dive in and take it away a little bit for us tonight.
Okay. Hi everyone. So basically Freshbiz is a game. Now this is a very special game for whatever you've seen so far because it's a board game. Okay? Remember board games? So it's a board game, and the idea is basically to run game-based workshops for the development of entrepreneurial thinking. And this is what Freshbiz is all about. We run game-based workshops all around the globe. So people can play the game, but they can also be part of a workshop that actually aim to change the way they play business and the way they play life. Well, this is basically the problem that we are coming to solve by using the game. Are you ready?
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody have that?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are two people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is it?
Okay, so basically, that's pretty funny when we see it on a video, but people come across this problem all the time in business and in life, and especially in the new economy where we have so many opportunities and so many options and so many resources, but people still find themselves stuck and unable to move forward with their ideas, dreams, businesses, life, and this is what the game comes to solve.
Just to add something, who here knows that the world has definitely changed a little bit over the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years? 7 years ago, you still needed to have a college email address to be able to join Facebook. That was 7 years ago. So a lot has changed, and one of our basic premises in terms of with Freshbiz, changing the way people play life through teaching them entrepreneurial, multidimensional thinking through a game is because people today are playing a new game with the old rules that no longer work. They're no longer relevant. And a lot of people don't know that. So people keep getting stuck, and they find themselves stuck on an escalator because they're so trapped in the thinking that the escalator is supposed to move, and they're not realizing for a second to zoom out a little bit and realize that if the escalator is not moving, well, maybe I can move instead. So part of what we do is helping people to really go ahead and transform their mindset to be able to understand the new game that we're playing.
Well, basically the idea to develop the Freshbiz game started from realizing that traditional business games and Monopoly mainly is a very old school game, and it was relevant for the 1920s when we played an old type of business and different way of running our lives. But the new game of business and the new game of life basically requires a different games that people can play and learn new skills. So,
see, one of the things that we realized just in looking at a lot of the older games, they're games that we've all grown up on. And typically the philosophy of your typical game is that it's a zero-sum game, which means there's one winner and everybody else loses. Last man standing. You wait for everybody else to just die, and you're the last man left, and then you win the game. where the idea of it's two-dimensional. In Monopoly, you keep going around until you die of boredom or somebody has all the money or something like that. And the same thing is also is either or. So a lot of these games, you could either do this one action or this one action. It's not multi-dimensional. It's not very exciting. And one of the things that we found is that a lot of people, and a lot of the kids that we're raising nowadays also, they're growing up playing zero-sum games, and what happens is they go out to the real world, to the business world, and they continue playing the zero-sum thinking that, well, there's only one winner here, so I'm not going to help anybody be successful in life because I don't want them to win and then me lose. So they've sort of taken this game theory of let's say, zero-sum thinking, they've applied it to business nowadays. Everybody sitting in the room here, who's here tonight understands that in today's world, everybody can win the game. It's about being an entrepreneur. It's about thinking about partnerships and providing value to people and doing things differently. But this is sort of the old school traditional business, which is what most people have been playing for their entire life, if you will.
And it's mostly events-driven games. So something has to happen, and then you react to it. And people actually play life that way. So if my boss asks me to do something, then I'll go and do it. So I need something to trigger me doing new activities, doing that. I get an email, I respond to the email. But the new game of business is to be proactive and to be entrepreneur. And if we play events-driven games, so we get into the position that we are waiting for something to happen to us. And that's why we're kind of reactive all the time instead of being active and proactive. So Freshbiz is about changing the way you play life, because we understand that we have to play life in a different way, and the goal of the game is to give people the tool to actually change the way they play life by playing a game in a different way, then taking those insights and skills from the game and implement it into life.
And our thought process also was that we're really proud to be a part of the Startup Nation, but how can we take some of the thinking of the Startup Nation and share it with the world and teach other people how to be Startup Nations or how to be innovative or motivated or inspired and do things differently?
So we basically wanted to go through changing the way people look at what happens to them and find a different way to do it. And it was from starting by questioning the basic beliefs, do what I know is actually true and relevant, then to change the point of view by looking at different situations in a different way. How can I move ahead with the escalator by understanding that maybe I can move, and then get them into new actions to do something different than they used to do. When they go through those phases, they can actually start playing a new game, a different game. So let's go see a bit how the game is designed and how this supports our theory and the goals that we wanted to achieve.
Sure. So the entire idea was to give people muscle memory around playing new behaviors and doing new methodologies and doing things differently. But just keep this in mind, a lot of us, when it comes out, when it comes to real life, when it comes to business, when it comes to risk and taking chances and business opportunities, a lot of people are a little bit nervous because they've never done it before. What if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I make the wrong choice? What if I don't have the right partner? A lot of people have these fears that hold them back. So our thought process was, if we can gamify it, if we can get people playing a game and having fun as they really develop entrepreneurial thinking through multiple different layers in the game and then bring that into their life, they're going to be able to experience success like they've already done it before. That's the idea of gamifying success through playing the game and new different modes of thinking as well. So for example,
so it starts from choosing a different goal for the game. Most games are usually either a competition or it's about getting the most points, the most money, or whatever. In a Freshbiz game, you have to reach the winner's lot in 90 minutes. And that helped us achieve two goals that we had in the game. First of all, to make it a time-limited and not a competition. Because life is a time-limited game. It's not a competition. Right? The only difference between the game and life is that in the game we let you know when it's over. Okay? But life and business, it's a time-limited game. So that moves aside entirely the competition, because in 90 minutes, more than one can reach the winner's lot and become a winner. So if more than one can be a winner, then it's about collaboration, not about competition. And that's more similar to life and business in the new game that we are playing, because let's say someone achieved a very good relationships with his boss or with his peers or with his wife. So that doesn't mean that he won the game, now I can't do it because, oh, we already got someone who already done it, so there can be only one. No. And the second thing is that money now is a mean and not a goal. And we also believe that life and business works the same that way. We really believe in cause-driven businesses, and you know, the bottom line, money is only a mean to a goal, and not a goal by itself. And when people start playing this kind of game, they have different thoughts, beliefs around money and around competition.
And it also becomes a lot more fun. That's the whole idea in the first place of why we're even here, about gamifying events that make it more fun for people too. The next thing also is, just here there's a different starting point as well. And it's initiative driven, it's not event driven. This means that it's not event driven, you're not waiting for something to happen to you in life. Life doesn't take turns, okay? Life doesn't take turns, and we don't wait for something to happen to us. This is a game where we give people the flexibility to be able to create what they'd like to create, to be able to figure out different ways of achieving an accomplishment, or to be able to move forward in the game as well.
So basically, you don't achieve rewards or points or money by doing tasks like in other gamification methods. You have to initiate everything that you want to do in order to gain those points, which in the game it's money, but you only do those that you want, not in order to get the most that you can, but just what you need in order to have your specific lifestyle, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And basically, as you move through the game, you have to pay money to cross from section to section. Now you only need a certain amount of money to go from section to section, and everything that has to do beside getting the money is about choosing your lifestyle. What kind of a game do you want to play? Do you want it to be a fast game? Do you want to work on your skills? Do you want to work on collaboration? Do you want to work on seeing new opportunities? You have the opportunity to choose the lifestyle that you want to play the game through.
One of the things also which is really fun for our participants, for our players, and we run workshops for corporations, for entrepreneurs, for students, for universities. But one of the things which is really fun is very often when you look at just what a board looks like, often people already start to yawn. They're like, oh, I played this before. You know, it's like Monopoly. And Monopoly is something which naturally we sort of have this thing where it's a little bit boring, it's a little bit slow. And the whole idea for us was, in the new world that we're a part of, just as an example, just raise your hand if you're only part of one social network. Anybody here just part of one social network? Okay? Raise your hand if you're a part of 3 or 5. Okay? A lot of hands going up. Can you just imagine if people here thought that social network, there was only one and you could only be a part of one social network? That's silly. How much value we get by being a part of tons of social networks. And each one, by the way, for the most part, they're free. So there are 3 different dimensions for us to take advantage of that will allow us to have success in different atmospheres and different fields in our life. So it was important for us to have a game that gave people muscle memory around different dimensions. You mean that I can roll a die and play an action card and initiate a partnership and take out a loan and build a business? Yeah, life is multidimensional. So it's important for us to give people training and getting very, very good at multidimensional thinking, because that's really true to how we live our lives nowadays.
Okay, as you can see, as you go along on the board, so you have different titles over the different lots. Most of them are optional. Only some of them are must-dos. And that creates a situation where most of the time it's an options-based game and not rules-based game. So we have about 3 or 4 rules in the game. Everything else is options, opportunities. And that really opens up endless opportunities for the gamers. And every game looks a different way. You play a different character, you play with different people, you have different goals. So you never play the same game twice. Just move to... So basically, in order to be able to achieve the multidimensional layers, the multidimensional thinking, we designed into the game different dimensions, which all of them simulate different dimensions from life and from business. Like we have the dice, which is the movement, and we have coaching, and we have collaboration or the team, and we have action cards, and we have business opportunities, and we have the ability to start businesses. So we have many dimensions where you can act in all of them at the same time, or in most of them, most of the times, and you can go from very low skilled to very high skilled in each one of them. So as you go and you play the game more and more times, you basically become a master of multidimensional thinking. Now,
and just to add also, and you're probably going to say this, but the great thing about becoming a master of multidimensional thinking in the game is essentially we're about changing the way people play life. So what's fun is that we've noticed in close to 5,000 participants around the world is that the more people play the game and get good at multidimensional thinking in the game, then they could simply copy and paste that mindset in real life. And all of a sudden we hear great feedback and we hear great results around people who are just taking concepts about about doing this and being able to leverage this partnership and turn it into more of a smartnership because they've now really have each other vested interest and they've done a number of different things and they come back to us and say, we felt like we were playing Freshbiz and all of a sudden we just, we just made our business a few $100,000 more because we just did this, we put it with this, we put it with this, and it was just, they just simply copied and pasted a mindset that they got through playing a game in their real life. So now not only are they playing a game, but they're playing life like the game, and they're having more fun, more success than before.
Exactly, because actually when you're playing the game, and if you do it long enough, which means 3-4 times, then you actually start rewiring the way you think and your basic beliefs about money, partnership, loans, businesses, whatever. So it kind of flows into your life, because let's say you are now really skilled in the game in using action cards. And action cards, for example, in the game are all kinds of activities, abilities that you have, and you can use them. Now, once you realize you have action cards in your life and you get very skilled in the game to use action cards, you can't just now turn it off when you go to life. It stays on. And then you say, okay, I've got those and those and those action cards, and he's got those and those action cards, and we can combine action cards and we can exchange action cards in life, and that gets you to have better results in life. And this is where the game goes into life, and we see people actually starting playing Freshbiz in life. And we see this, first of all, by using a different language. The game teaches them a different language that we see people starting using it in their businesses and in their life, for example.
So we have a friend of mine who runs a really big company, and one of the things that he was saying to me when we had a meeting is he said, it was so great. I was sitting at a meeting and I decided to play an action card that I had, and pretty soon I had this quantum leap where all of a sudden we went from here to now we're open in 3 different countries, and it was just because I played that one action card. Now, I knew exactly what he was talking about because we both played the game before, and it was really fun being able to talk about something in life using game terminology. Because 1, it makes the whole thing more fun. 2, it gives us room to stop taking ourselves so damn seriously. And 3, it opens up so many opportunities for people to view big business decisions or big thinking decisions in a way that's a lot more easy, in a way that's a lot more graceful also.
Because we see gamification as the ability to get people to a state where they actually play life as a game. So when they start using a different language, because language is a very good mirror to our subconscious and our beliefs, and the way that we think and the things that we believe comes out of the way that we speak. So when you change your language, it's actually mirroring of your new subconscious. So when you start using action cards and throw the dice and thinking outside the board and all kinds of terms, you can actually see that people are starting to treat their business and their life as a game. And when you treat life and business as a game, then all kinds of fears just go away, and you have a more playfulness approach to it, and it's amazing to see the results. out of it.
Just to add, just to share with you one more concept that's on the screen right now, which said win to the win power. One of the things which is really old school thinking is people doing business in a win-lose fashion, where they want to win and they want you to lose. That sort of thinking is really, really old school. What's also becoming old school is the idea of win-win. Win-win's great. That means you win, and that means that we win. That's a great deal, okay? As more and more companies started to really build on each other, one of the things, for example, that we've seen, let's say, the model of Groupon, for example, okay, sure. Groupon is something where it's not only a win-win, it's a win-win-win, because the restaurant wins, for example, you win, and then Groupon wins. So we're seeing that it's possible to do what we call win to the win power, which is to have many more people win, and it's fun watching people take this concept from the game and say, how can I bring win to the win power in my life?
And the last issue is about lifestyle. I think that our ultimate goal is to get people to play life, first of all, from choosing the lifestyle that they want to live, and then build up the business and money and whatever they need. So I think we'll go to the last slide, sure, because we don't have time. But
wait, yeah, just to clarify what Ronen was saying, you know, the more that we see businesses, a lot of the newer businesses are going from being profit-driven to being purpose-driven. It's a lot more inspiring to be focused on your purpose and then have profit come from that, as opposed to the other way around. And too often, it's very old game to be thinking in the sense that most people talk about how they want to make money and what type of career or job or business that they want to be in, and then they hope to maybe get a little bit of life or a little bit of lifestyle around how they make money. And part of our training for people is to focus on how they could choose what lifestyle they want to have, and then out of lifestyle, then build how they like to be living and how they like to be having
making money,
income come in, or opportunities come in as well. So, you know, one of our favorite quotes is, "There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way." Right? That's one of the most basic self-development coaching quotes. There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So one of our things is just the same exact thing. There's no way to lifestyle. Lifestyle is the way. And the reality is that as far as we're concerned, is if you don't play the game, then the game plays you. So that's part of what we do in terms of really helping people through playing the game to essentially change how they play their life as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.